It's Radio Tekkers. White.
And then Tanner has a stroke live on episode. We're live.
We're live. Let's do this episode live. Let's hit the intro.
Hit the intro, Tanner.
Oh my god. All right, we are live. Radio Tekkers here. Transfer news and rumors.
What's the inflection for there?
And innuendo.
And innuendo, perhaps.
Innuendos throughout, no doubt. Give us your best innuendo in the chat. We won't read them out, though.
Yeah. Give us your best innuendo in the chat. Maybe we'll pop it up here on the live stream. I am Tanner, a.k.a. the Texas Gentleman, and I'm joined by two of Britain's finest podcasters and streamers, content creators alike. My good friends Mags and Matt. Gentlemen, how are we feeling today?
Up to you, Max.
I'm doing really well. Glad to be in the kind of like the post-season / pre-season era of Radio Tekkers, ready to build on for next season and kick off our solo journey.
Indeed. And Matt, how are you?
I'm good. A scorching day here on the east coast of England. Absolutely beautiful, but obviously the temperature's gonna be hot here on Tekkers because we got a lot to talk about.
Is Clacton on the east coast or the south coast?
Officially on the east of England. Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was south, but
well, we're south compared to you, but we're on the east coast.
I mean, everybody is south compared to me.
Yeah, the North Sea is out there, literally about 100 yards away.
Oh, yes. This is going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a fun episode. We're using the banana background because this summer has been bananas as far as transfers is concerned.
Look at you on the nose with the puns.
Very good. Speaking of puns, in the chat, of course, we have Mr. Chris, _BFC, long time no see, gentlemen, and Matt. How are you, our kids?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hello,
Thanks, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Well.
Always good to see you, sir. Always.
Absolutely. We've got a little bit of a fun start here to the show because obviously we're coming off the back of Euro 2020, and this is a new era for Radio Tekkers, our own channel, all this nice fun stuff that we all love. So let's get with an icebreaker here, a nice little icebreaker. We asked you guys over on the Twitter universe, our Team Tekkers here. For icebreaker suggestions for the start of the show, and we've got quite a few different ones here to pick from. Chris, who's actually in the chat, he's got a good one here. He's asking, would you rather be able to do any skill you wanted or know the answer to any question? I'll kick it over to Mags. What would you rather? Would you rather know the answer to any question or have the ability to learn any skill?
Okay, so I'm assuming, seeing as this is a football-centric show, he means football skills, or does it just mean any life skill in general? But that would be my answer anyway, because I pretty much know everything, so I don't really need to be worried about knowing the answer, because I do. Yeah, I would like to pick up any skill at the drop of a hat. So yeah.
There you go. That's a good answer. Matt?
Thank you very much.
You look disgusted, rather.
I'm not disgusted. I'm not disgusted at all. I just feel like that's a pretty much complete answer I can't top, which is Mags, of course, let's face it. Personally, I would...
learn to cook.
Matt, would you like to learn to cook, as Mags suggested? Mags has muted himself, I think. Or maybe Matt has muted Mags. I don't know.
Maybe not. But let's face it, after a year of that, then, it's all good. Right, so I'd like to be able to learn any skill for sure. There are certain ones I'd love to be able to learn to do, because it's having the answers to everything. I tend to think I know it all anyway, and
actually, I am Matthew.
I tend to think I know it all, even though I know I don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather than be more than arse that way. I'd rather learn some skills.
Correct. Good
Fair
answer.
enough. Yeah.
Tanner, yourself.
I'm kind of the same mind as you guys. I mean, I'd like to be able to just go and do something, like know how to do something automatically and be like, yeah, I got this, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that I do know skill-wise, but, it would be handy to have in your back pocket. Just be like, yeah, I know how to use this table saw. Let's go ahead and get it going. I don't know. I guess I'm watching a lot of Parks and Rec, watching Ron Swanson make tables and stuff.
He's amazing. That's my best characters ever created in TV, for sure.
Tanner's new Yankee Workshop.
There you go. The Texas Gentleman Craft Show, now live on Radio Tekkers. One day, perhaps. No, that's a very good question, though, Chris. I appreciate that.
It's a great question.
Yeah, very deep and introspective at the beginning as well.
Yeah,
it's all downhill from here.
Absolutely. I will kick it over for one more icebreaker. Our friend Robert at Carbon_Robert on Twitter. He did ask a football related question, so we can dive into the football here today. He says, here's one to get your teeth into. If I suspect Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus win the court case over the English Super League, how will the English clubs, it's not 100% if they have left or not, that have signed up react? How will the English clubs that were part of the European Super League react if the court case is found in favor of these breakaway clubs?
Okay, so the UEFA actually got ordered by the Spanish courts to cancel any legal ramifications for Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus. So it looks essentially like the court case is over for these, and then they're not going to face any potential bans from UEFA or any monetary fines. It's ironic that the 6 Premier League teams who withdrew took their fines and their punishment on the chin and just accepted it. I think that there was a total of 22 million pounds worth of fines.
About that, yeah.
And then a further 20 million and a 30-point deduction if they attempt it again. I think also Milan, Inter, and Atletico agreed to give a goodwill contribution to grassroots football as well. So it looks like being honest and kind of like accepting the fan backlash has not helped them clubs, because they've took the fans on the chin, and the 3 teams kind of sticking their heels in the sand look like they're going to be getting away with any kind of punishment at all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Go ahead,
sorry.
Matt. I'm sorry.
No, after you can.
What I was simply going to point out is there is a European case that will be taking place. I think the per Marca actually that the submission deadline for any relevant observations is October the 18th. So this will be a prolonged thing going on here. But per that same article. It's basically, the title is a European Court of Justice delivers a blow to European Super League. Basically, they rejected an appeal from a Madrid-based court, regarding I guess maybe more time or consideration as to whether or not the UEFA had broken any European laws in preventing the Super League from happening. Obviously, if just my perspective, the Madrid court was always going to rule in favor of Super League for political reasons. I don't know. I don't think a Super League is going to happen, Robert. I'm sorry.
I have to agree personally as well, because whilst absolutely right in what Magnus said about the honest people owning up to their mistakes, as it were. I think honest people, you know what I mean? People who took it on the chin, sort of thing, paid their fines happily, and has basically said, very sorry, won't do it again, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it also goes to show that the other clubs, like that's Barca, Real, and Juventus, don't give a damn what their fan base had to say about it. And also, they financially need this Super League to happen.
That was always the kicker. That was always the kicker with those three teams, that they are so financially in the mud that they had to fight tooth and nail for this to happen. And I agree with you both in the fact that I don't think it happens. And the reason it doesn't happen is because a European Super League wouldn't work without the Premier League. It's the biggest league in the world. It's the most financially rich. It felt this whole league fell apart once the English team started backing out because the money wasn't there to fund it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and let's also look at this way here. The fans of and supporters of Juventus, Barcelona, and Real Madrid, to a great extent, actually did want the Super League to happen. We actually had a guest come on the show for the Super League who pointed out that they are very well aware of how much strain and marketability would and how much money would be brought in for Madrid and Barcelona, Juventus. You know, they are very well aware of what they want, and to an extent. And this is not a shot at Robert, I promise. Robert, being a Spurs fan, who of amongst the English teams actually has the most to gain out of being in the Super League? Spurs
and Arsenal.
Indeed. And that actually brings us into our first topic here, a little bit of breaking news, a little bit of that. I don't have the button.
The fans were disappointed.
I don't have the button, but I'll give you this. Ba-ba. Ben White to Arsenal there. Ben White to Arsenal.
Classy and professional as always here on Radio Tekkers.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Ben White, per David Ornstein of The Athletic, has confirmed that Arsenal have reached an agreement in principle with Brighton for the transfer of Ben White. The agreement is subject to a medical, with the fee understood to be in the region of £50 million. 50 million pounds for Ben White.
Wow.
Why?
I mean, it was 12 months ago. Liverpool were looking at Ben White for perhaps 20 million.
Yeah, 20 to 30 is what they were bargaining for, and now it's 50.
They've already spent. Now we are 2 transfers deep for Arsenal. Because obviously they've also bought Nuno Tavares from Benfica, of course.
Yes.
So if they have strengthened their back line with this, no question, Ben White will make Arsenal's back line better. No question.
Oh yeah, he's an upgrade over the likes of David Luiz,
who's left the club. Of course. So you know that's not a loss at all. I mean, David Luiz filled the hole literally.
Yeah.
It's an extreme amount of money for a player who 2 seasons ago was on loan at Leeds.
I mean, Sky Sports have got some comparison stats with him and the current Arsenal centre backs, and he outshines pretty much all of them. Gabriel, Holding, Mare. The fact it's 50 million is huge, but as Chris says in the chat, that's the going rate for a young Englishman who's a top player for a Premier League club. It's the English premium. You pay way more for somebody of the same level for being English than you would for being a European or a foreigner. So for me, it's a great signing. The price is it's a bit scandalous, but Arsenal certainly needed him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, Max?
Sorry, 1 second. Connor McCabe's joining us.
Absolutely,
in the chat.
Connor McCabe.
Timing absolutely good here for Connor to join us here in the chat.
Yes.
Go on, Matt.
Yes, I was going to ask Max and Tanner for that matter. With regards to Ben White, do you think his stock has gone up because, especially, not just because of the English premium, but because of the performance of England in general at the Euros?
I feel like had he actually had more minutes at the Euros, I think that would be justifiable. I feel like, and maybe this is also kind of like answering your question with another question, but does what Ben White skill set wise bring to the table as a role player with Brighton, somebody who can play in a back three, somebody who can play as a center back or even shift up to be a central defensive minded midfielder? I mean, is the versatility that I guess justifies the £50 million price in Brighton's head?
I think that maybe Chris in the chat is actually on the money here. It may not be the fact that he's English. It may just be the fact that Premier League clubs are far better financially than any other league. And Max has touched on that already.
Yeah, that is certainly the case. But I think if this was, say, Toby Alderweireld, he wouldn't have gone for 50 million. It's because he's English and he's a really good player that all those kind of factors mixed together means he's going to cost a lot more than a similar player of a similar age.
I think he's good. I think he's very good. It is a lot of money for a player of his age. I mean, that's only 20 some odd million off from what Virgil van Dijk went for when he signed for Liverpool.
It's the same money that Chelsea paid for Fernando Torres.
Yeah,
I mean, we're talking a decade ago.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that it's the same sort of money. And there's hope that Ben White isn't the same sort of flop.
Inflation is a funny beast. It is. But yeah. So, gentlemen, do we think this is a good move for Arsenal? Is it a good move?
In terms of bodies, in terms of strengthening that core that Arsenal struggled with for large periods of last season, it's a great move. In terms of financial, yes, it's a hell of a lot of money and it's a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
Is this a good move for Ben White, though? Good move for Arsenal, unquestionably, but is it a good move for Ben White?
From Brighton to Arsenal, it's a great move.
Should he have held on for like a Man City or a Man United, for example?
Would he get in the Man City team with Diaz and Stones?
Would he get in the United team, right?
Well,
I think
Lindelof is superb.
If you're Simon, of course, I'm sure you're hanging around later on, mate. I'm pretty sure he would say that he the horse's ass. In his word, not mine.
Of his options, I'll give Ben White this. Of his options, I would have fully expected him maybe to end up at a Chelsea, especially since Mags had brought up that Kurt Zuma might have been on the chopping block. I think that he would have slotted right into a Thomas Tuchel team, but he's at Arsenal, and maybe this is one of those building blocks that Mikel Arteta really needs.
It's at Arsenal. It's guaranteed game time though.
Yeah.
He's going to slot straight in.
Right. I put out the tweet earlier from the Radio Tekkers account. I said this is going to either absolutely work or it's not. There's no in between.
Yeah.
This is how this works when you make a move like this to Arsenal. Matt brought up Fernando Torres moving to Chelsea earlier, so let's stay on a somewhat related topic here of Chelsea happenings. Olivier Giroud to AC Milan has been made official. The Chelsea accounts over at Twitter basically said bon voyage to
au revoir, maybe even
au revoir, perhaps. Yes, to Olivier Giroud. So yeah, he'll be there rocking up at Milan with Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
That must be the oldest front line in European football,
and it's still pretty intimidating, Mags, isn't it?
I mean, it's two of the most physical strikers on the planet.
And it was interesting that Giroud only just signed a new deal at Chelsea not that long ago. I mean, there was talk last season of him moving on. He was getting frustrated with his minutes. Then he signs a deal, and then he's suddenly gone. And it looks like we're having quite a bit of a clear out at Chelsea because there's rumours of Tammy Abraham maybe on his way. Hudson-Odoi might be going. There's talk of bringing in somebody like Haaland, which I think is very much pie in the sky. I feel that Haaland may not leave Dortmund this season.
I've got a feeling you're right on that one, Mag. Especially with the Sancho deal, I don't think Dortmund can afford to let him go.
No.
But then they're still linked in with the likes of bringing Lukaku back, and even though the deal is pretty much almost done, Antoine Griezmann's sister and his agent has been touting him around Premier League clubs. Apparently, she had meetings with Chelsea earlier this week, so that's still a possibility until the ink's dried on that.
Indeed, some of the dirt sheets about that have been saying stuff like he could be heading to any one of Chelsea, City, United, or Liverpool. I've got to wrong. I like Griezmann Liverpool. I'm just not sure where he'd fit in because although he'd be on.
Wait, hold on. You like who at Liverpool?
Griezmann.
Oh, okay.
I'd love a bit of Griezmann at Liverpool for sure. But at the same time, you'd have to get rid of one to bring him in probably because there's a lot of egos there. And I'm not entirely sure that he's a necessary get.
I wouldn't bring in Griezmann for any of the three that are there right now.
For Liverpool, it would certainly be a vanity signing.
So
he's one of those signings you make. He's one of those signings you make because you can, not because you need to.
And that's why Barcelona did what they did, and they spent 110 million on his transfer, and then 50 million to stop Atletico suing them for tapping him up. They didn't need him at the time, just like Liverpool don't need him.
Gentlemen, let's bring the focus back to Chelsea. We will have plenty of Liverpool focus here in a minute.
That's fine.
We will talk.
Telling us off now.
We will talk about Liverpool here momentarily. I promise. Scouts honor. We will talk about Liverpool. But Chelsea. How badly does this affect Chelsea though? Because they've lost somebody who's basically a secret weapon for them.
Mm-hmm. When they signed for Chelsea from Arsenal, it was like 18 million, something like that.
Yeah, very cheap.
It certainly wasn't the marquee signing everyone thought that Chelsea were getting at the time. But he turned out to be what a servant. I mean, let's face it, he won the FA Cup, Champions League, Europa League.
Chelsea have a history of doing things like that, though, signing players who maybe are on their downward spiral of the career and suddenly become amazing for Chelsea. They did it with Demba Ba from Newcastle, if you remember. He became absolutely legendary at Chelsea.
Did the same with Elka as well.
Exactly.
I mean, a cult hero, perhaps, legendary. I mean, maybe.
Cult heroes can become legends. Look at Divock Origi. Cult hero at Liverpool.
He's not going. Neither of those things.
He's a cult hero. That's it.
He's stealing a wage.
Anyway, let's get back to Chelsea. As you say.
So how does Chelsea fill this Giroud-shaped void in their team?
I mean, do they need to? Do they really need to? Being honest, I like Giroud. I think he's a great player, but have they not got players already in that squad that are better and that can't get game time?
Well, you're saying that, Mag, but I have to disagree with you there because they've got those better players and they're not getting results. But Giroud did. When he was on the pitch, he got the result done. Look at people like the, quote, flat track bully, which is Timo Werner, came in. I mean, yes, it was his first season, but he really stunk up the joint.
Yeah.
Okay, first season, but then you've got Kai Havertz, who's now coming into his second season. You've got Ziyech coming into his second season. Those three will have more chemistry now than they had when they all entered the club. I think that Chelsea are going to be much more formidable this season in front of goal than they were last season.
They need to be. They need to be.
They will be, Matt.
Why are we arguing about this? We actually have agreement. Why are we shouting at each other?
Because drama gets viewers. So if you like drama, sub to Radio Tekkers.
Absolutely. That little bit, the little button just below it. Also give us a thumbs up while you're here.
Yeah, just give us a follow.
And follow just down here.
A subscribe.
Just down there.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button. Really,
Absolutely, yeah, please do.
That'd be cool. Let's talk about one of the worst kept secrets in all of the English Premier League right now. Jadon Sancho will likely be announced here in the coming days to Manchester United. That's no secret. It sounds like. And Rafael Varane has been widely rumored to be also rocking up at Old Trafford and joining him. Mags, you and I made a meal of bashing Manchester United for the first half of last season, and they miraculously had this meteoric rise to second place. What would a Jadon Sancho and a Rafael Varane mean to this Manchester United team that came very close?
It would close up some gaping holes in Man United's team. Jadon Sancho certainly brings pace. He brings an attacking flair, something that for long periods Man United really struggled with. As for Rafael Varane, he'll bring a kind of strength in defence. He'll bring. He can play multiple positions, so he'll certainly be able to plug more than one gap. And it's also he'll bring up the kind of the quality in the team. When you bring in players of that kind of level, it boosts the whole of the squad. You have more players who have to up their game to be able to get game time, and I think that's something that Varane will certainly be able to provide. But the Sancho move again, Man United almost kind of shot themselves in the foot with pressuring Dortmund into taking a lower fee. What I think was the final fee, something like 73 million. And United were kind of adamant they didn't want to pay any more than that 68 million. And it's like, for the few millions, arguing this has took you 2 years to get this deal over the line. Just pay up the money and bring him in. So it's looking like that deal's done. It's very likely as well that it's not the end of Man United's transfer dealings, because they've been linked with quite a few other players over the last few weeks. So I think this is a Man United who may not still challenge for the league, but will certainly kind of be looking to consolidate that second place.
Very, very interesting here. We've got some chat here, some chat from Chris, _BFC. He says Jadon Sancho doesn't solve motorcycle. Jadon Sancho doesn't solve.
That's a great thing. Go on,
He doesn't solve Manchester United's problems. I'd much rather spend 80 million on Rice than 80 on Sancho if I'm at United. Look at Fabinho and Fernandinho to see how important defensive mids are to winning titles. Yes, I think that's a pretty astute observation.
It does make a great point, but United had one of their lowest scoring seasons of Premier League history, so they need that attacking force back, and I think Sancho will certainly at least help create more chances. Whether he can keep the form that he had at Dortmund, where he was a killer in those Bundesliga streets, that'll be we've yet to see. But I think it's a very interesting signing.
Matt, you've appeared to be awfully skeptical since I've breached the subject. What says you?
About Sancho, you mean?
About either, really.
Well, Varane is unquestionably make that defensive partnership with Maguire stronger, without question. It's been really weird, this whole Sancho deal. As Mags mentioned, the fact it took 2 years to get to this day, they could have got it done last year quite simply. And then when they agreed the fee, they said, we'll do medical after the Euros. I'm thinking, like, that just had bad news written all over it. Luckily, he got through it, no problem. But he could have suffered an injury in the Euros, which could have kept him out. And this could have failed in medical as a lot of it. I think he's past his medical now, and just wait for it to be finally announced. What's taking you so long, guys? Seriously. I think that he'd do well. You bring him into the team, no question. But someone's got to be dropped from that Man United team. And the thing is, that team got where it is. So who are they dropping? That's my question to you, gentlemen. And the chat, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, you would... I would assume that he'd be in competition with the Mason Greenwoods and the Jesse Lingards at the that the three of them will be fighting over the place with Jadon Sancho. I would have to think that he'd be nearly automatic though if the race is between the three of them.
I would agree.
You don't spend 2 years phoning and kind of courting a player for him to sit on the bench. So he will definitely be one of the first names on the team sheet. I would say that actually hastens Jesse Lingard's exit from Manchester United.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll be definitely at West Ham, I think, permanently. I think that's almost a certainty of where he'll end up, personally. Mason Greenwood had a very strong end to the season, so much so he was in the England squad and then had to withdraw because conveniently he was injured. I'm leaving at that.
The thing with Mason Greenwood is he can play in the front, in the number 10 role anyway. He's very fluid like that, so he can certainly be moved about, which would give Man United another option with Cavani as well, staying on for another season. So I think attack-wise, United have the ability to be very deadly in front of goal.
Mm-hmm. I do like these comments from Conrad and Chris in the chat. $73 million to be paid over 4 years or something like that, says Conrad. There's been links to a right back as well. He says that I'd be looking at a defensive midfielder, as Chris said, and then Ndidi or Rice would allow us to play a 4-3-3 instead of a double pivot.
I'm loving the actual grammar and capitalization in the chat from you, Conrad. There, fantastic.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think at that point the question would be how much money can United possibly spend this summer? I mean, United buying Sancho, not cheap. Obviously, a transfer for Varane, not cheap. And then talking about getting Rice or Ndidi, that's you got to have some deep pockets. United probably do, but
United are their owners are kind of playing with fire at the moment. If they could try and spend their way out of into the fans' good graces, that's kind of like feeding the dragon right now, isn't it?
Chris says you'd assume that they'd start with Greenwood, Sancho, Cavani front three until Rashford comes back and the Champions League starts. Yeah, I would say that that's agreeable. Yeah. More from Conrad in the chat. Rumors of a 4-3-3 for United says to me that Sancho goes straight in on the right, alternate Greenwood and Cavani down the middle, play Greenwood or Ahmad on the right while Rashford is out. Sancho can play on the left. So yeah, I mean, from what it appears to be, yes, and Dan James, from what it appears to be, yeah, United have a lot of different options attacking wise. Some more mature and experienced than others, some vastly more experienced than others, but you do have a good mix there as far as attacking options go. Will it pan out for United? We'll have to find out as the season goes on. Let's go to their most direct rivals, though, fellow title challengers, over onto the Mersey side of things, where Matt and I will
Everton. Talking Everton. Oh, you meant Liverpool, didn't you?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Liverpool and the midfielder madness, the midfielder merry-go-round of transfer rumors for Liverpool. Gentlemen, Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp's side have been linked to everyone from Renato Sanchez to Hassim Aouar. Did I say that correctly?
I think it's about, yeah.
Oh. Mikel Damsgaard,
yes. We've been linked to Florian Neuhaus. We've been linked to
Barella.
Yes, Nicolo Barella. Yuri Tielemans. We've been linked to
Sal Niguez.
Sal Niguez, yes.
basically every single player that's ever existed in Europe, it seems like at the moment, which is not a bad thing.
Every midfielder, certainly.
I certainly, as a Liverpool fan, I'm happy to be associated with those sort of names.
Yes,
for sure. At the same time, we've got a lot of quality already at Liverpool, and you don't want to just make a signing just because you're fancy signing. You want to make sure a signing that will improve your team, but also at the right time. I mean, Gini Wijnaldum has obviously moved on, and I wish him all the best. He put in an absolute shift for us, made believers out of us when we thought that the signing was a little bit overpriced. Turned out with peanuts. Curtis Jones stepping up last couple of seasons. He's a ready-made replacement for him, you would imagine, at the club. Question is do they put him? Do they throw him into it?
Well, let me play devil's advocate here.
Copyright infringement
for the question, Matt. Are any of these players, Curtis Jones, Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, none of these players are the quality that Gini Wijnaldum is, and none of them can fulfill the role that he has.
Objection, Your Honor.
They don't bring the right attributes to the pitch that Gini Wijnaldum does.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree.
I object slightly in the sense of Curtis Jones hasn't reached that level yet because he's still very, very young. Naby Keita, I could argue that one for. Oxlade-Chamberlain, injury prone, but when he plays, he's amazing. Gini Wijnaldum is a player who PSG are lucky to get on a free. For sure.
I mean, anybody's lucky to get him on a free, but the fact is Liverpool now have to replace him. And the current squad, they don't have a player who does the things for Liverpool that Gini Wijnaldum does. Mm-hmm. Even the likes of Thiago, who I know you hate with a vengeance, Matt, even he doesn't really fulfill that role that Gini Wijnaldum played. Not
to the same extent, certainly not. So I guess I'll ask the both of you, if you are Jurgen Klopp and the Liverpool front office here, who do you bring in? If are any of these names on your register, or are you thinking of somebody else?
If I had to pick one of those players, it'd be Tielemans.
Interesting.
It should be Tielemans. I mean, he may be priced out of a move because Leicester are digging their heels in. I think he's got quite a while on his contract, maybe up to 2024. But he would be the ideal replacement for me for Wijnaldum, that kind of engine in midfield. He's been superb. Been in my team of the year twice now for Radio Tekkers, and I think he would certainly add a touch of class for Liverpool. If you were priced out with Tielemans, Renato Sanchez seems to be very much in that same kind of Gini Wijnaldum mould. Maybe you'll be able to pick him up for a little bit cheaper.
Very strong, very dynamic, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Renato Sanchez.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of almost as flattered to deceive with his career. I remember when he was touted as the next big thing, and it's took him a couple of seasons to maybe live up to that. But certainly with this season he's had with Lille and his performances with Portugal, I think he would be an astute signing. But for me, it's between those two, Sanchez and Tielemans.
Absolutely. I would like to just point something out to Chris _BFC in the chat. I put my house on Tielemans not going to Liverpool. Yeah, don't tell your mum about, mate.
Because you live in her basement, you wrestling fan.
Just in case it happens.
Oh, man.
You know, he does make a good point, though, because Leicester
they are in a position.
Yeah, they're in a position where they don't have to sell. He has got a long-term contract, but his eyes have been turned by Liverpool, and he's been very receptive to the courting from Liverpool. So player power usually wins over. So if he wants the move, I'm sure it'll happen. But yeah, if not, they've got a good replacement in Sanchez if that's the route that they choose to go down.
I Chris definitely does not appreciate that comment here in the chat. I feel like, yes. I mean, they've been looking at a lot of people. I mean, if as a Liverpool fan, for me, my dream signing would probably be Nicolo Barella. I feel like he adds a lot of dynamism. Dynamism? Is that right?
Dynamism,
He had some dynamics to that midfield. It's a lot of flair. He's a strong player for his size. He can definitely nip at your heels. He has a very high offensive and defensive work rate. I could go all day about Nicolo Barella, but Inter are kind of in the same position. Inter Milan are as Leicester. They don't have to sell Nicolo Barella. They would likely want to keep him around for many years to come. But there's just one name that I'm going to throw out at you, and I'm really curious to know what you think, because I was actually reading this nice little article here from a gentleman by the name of Henry Jackson on Anfield Index here, and somebody who hasn't really been talked about in Liverpool circles, but there's certainly a great argument for it, and I'll be happy to start the rumor here. Why not Calvin Phillips to Liverpool?
Oof. I mean, if you're talking about a player whose value will have skyrocketed because of their performances in Euros, you can't get many players that will be worth way more than Calvin Phillips. I thought he was outstanding for the majority of the tournament. He would certainly do a job with Liverpool. I think he's probably a little bit more attacking minded than perhaps Gini was. But he would certainly get you goals. He would certainly create chances. He certainly would win balls. I mean, his pressures and his tackles are up there with the very best in those central midfield positions. So that would be a big signing. The issue would be getting Leeds to part with him.
They'd be wanting big money, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely they would.
Maybe around the 50 million mark for what they got for Arsenal got for Ben White, perhaps. I would say sounds about right.
Thing is, a lot of players shone in that Euros, and I mean, and we'll touch on it in a minute. But Everton's goalkeeper certainly shone in the Euros. He did, much as Tanner won't like me saying this, but Pickford did. He was absolutely amazing in the Euros. I mean, he saved 2 penalties in the shootout in the final as well.
How Donnarumma got the keeper position over Pickford is a mystery, because Pickford saved a hell of a lot more shots than Donnarumma faced.
He had the Golden Glove award and didn't get the goalkeeper tournament award. How did that work?
I really don't know as far as the goalkeeper situation is concerned, but back to Calvin Phillips.
Yes, absolutely.
let me give you some stats real quick. The match that England played against Croatia, he ran about 10.3 kilometers. It's quite a lot, quite a good amount of distance here.
Yeah, for sure.
Last season, he and this is per the article from Anfield Index. Very much recommend that you look it up. Phillips averaged 2.6 tackles per game in the league last season. Nobody at Liverpool matched that tally. Thiago, with 2.5, was the closest. He also averages a 1.2 key passes per match for Liverpool. This is only bettered by Thiago at 1.3, and was better than Henderson, Wijnaldum, and Fabinho. So not only is he defensively dynamic, he's offensively dynamic as well.
I mean, the stats about him running 10 kilometers a game just shows how much of a shift he will put in for Liverpool. He's literally all over the pitch from box to box. He's the epitome of a box to box midfielder.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's my thinking is he's worked under Bielsa for quite a good while now. The transition from Bielsa to Klopp would not be that complicated for him.
No, I don't believe so.
And he would fit. I feel like he's perfect for that system. Maybe a little bit less expensive than some of the other alternatives that are out there.
Well, Chris Blanco BSC chat doesn't think Edison 60-70 million for him.
Maybe.
So he may have a point there.
Maybe so. We'll have to find out here as the summer transfer window rolls on. But yes, Liverpool certainly looking at a lot of options, including attacking options. I think the African Cup of Nations is this year, so Liverpool will likely lose Sadio Mane and Mo Salah at some point.
Of course, that would be COVID pending, of course.
This is true. This is very true. Let's breach out of England for a little bit and get into the mainland of Europe. We'll talk about Messi's contract. Messi with the dollar signs there. He has signed a new deal post him winning the Copa America.
Which we predicted in the very early days of Radio Tekkers. We and the football world, it's not like we're some sort of like psychics, but this was always a power play. This was always about keeping Messi at the top of Barcelona. He had massive issues with Bartomeu. Now that Laporta is the president, Messi is much happier, and he's now signed a 5-year deal, which will take him to being 39 when his playing career comes up with the company, with the team.
He did agree to a significant wage cut to make it happen as well.
Yes.
So yeah, Messi.
You know how much of a significant cut it was?
Okay, so I've got some figures here. His previous contract, which lapsed on the 1st of July, was worth 476 million over 4 years, which is 119 million. The signing-on fee for that contract was 99 million alone, and then 67 in loyalty bonuses. His new contract is for 5 years at 238 million, which works out to 60 million per season. So he's essentially halved his wage.
Which, I mean, let's be very real here.
That's a lot of money.
That sucks for him. That's a lot of money that he's giving up on the table, but he's also made a lot of money from Barcelona.
I mean, the issue is that nobody else would have paid anywhere close to that. Even with Manchester City being interested at the beginning of last season, right now for this season, there's no way they would be forking out 60 million a season for Messi. He just wouldn't bring that value to City. So it was probably the best thing for both parties, really, because Barcelona are in huge financial issues. They have signed quite a few players on freeze that they cannot register because they are 200 million over budget on their wage bill. I saw a report today that their wage bill versus their income is 110%. So essentially their wage bill is more than they're expected to bring in. For financial stability, the Spanish league expects a club to be wages to be below 70% of revenue. So Barcelona have to essentially do a hatchet job with their squad and cut a lot of players before they can even register some of the players that they brought in.
Is that 100? Is that 110% based purely on players' wages? That's not including wages for like Mavis the tea lady, all the ball boys, and all the kit men.
It didn't make that clarification, but I dare say Mavis the tea lady's wages is not that significant. So
I don't know.
You know what I mean? No, I'm meaning obviously all the backroom people who actually make it actually happen.
No,
yes, you got to play on the pitch, but you got to think of all the like security, all the admin staff, all the people who have to make sure the taxes go to the right places and not to Messi's father's back pocket. All that sort of thing.
I think it's safe to suggest that 1 week's of Antoine Griezmann's wages at Barcelona would cover all of the admin wages.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. But yeah, absolutely. Barca obviously looking.
Chris in the chat would like to point out that he doubts that the Barcelona tea lady is called Mavis. Perhaps not. Maybe Margarita or I don't know. What is the common?
No, but
Spanish name?
Gabriela.
Gabriela. Yeah.
No.
Let's see here. That's funny. Yes. Messi still makes a lot of money.
Gabby, are we surprised he's staying? No, to be fair, are we really that surprised at all?
Not at all.
No.
No, I'm actually surprised he did agree to the pay cut. I'm surprised they actually chose to give him the pay cut and not half the other team.
Do you know? I'm actually not, because I think he bleeds Barcelona. The issues he had with Bartomeu was that Bartomeu was essentially running Barca into the ground.
Yes.
So I think once he and Laporta sat down and discussed the future of Barcelona, the financial wars that they're in, I think Messi would have been more than happy to be earning 60 million at 34 years old for the next 5 years. That's huge. That's absolutely huge.
Well, and we were talking last year about this time last year when Messi was speculated to go to PSG or Manchester City, whatever, and he had that interview that he did, and he was talking about how his wife and his children were begging him not to leave Barcelona, not to leave Spain, because that's what they know, man. Like that's what Messi's family's grown up in Barcelona. Like his whole life is surrounded by things from Barcelona. He's not going to leave there. I would even say that this puts a damper on any potential MLS happenings that may be involved down the road. Hi, Ori. Ori has joined us in the chat. How's it going? Hope you're doing well.
Over on Twitch, of course. Make sure if you are on Twitch, welcome.
Yes.
And an interesting wrinkle that I read to this Messi storyline was that there were rumors that the rest of the La Liga teams were willing to help subsidize Messi's wages at Barcelona, because this is from Sport Bible. Yeah,
he's the draw. That is true.
The fact that if the league without Messi, La Liga without Messi, it would be a worse place financially than it would be if he left. So there was talk that some of the other clubs would help subsidise. Obviously, that didn't happen, but it just shows how important Messi is, not just to Barcelona but to Spanish football in general.
Well, that's exactly right, Max. Because if you were to ask a non-football fan to name a footballer who played in Spain, they'd all say Messi.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the most recognisable names in the world. Transcends the sport, absolutely. It's like Michael Jordan in basketball, or Lewis Hamilton in Formula One. It's those names, people know who they are regardless.
Yes, indeed. And let's stay actually with the Barcelona news here as we move on. Interesting rumors going around here about a potential Barcelona Atletico swap deal, perhaps. The rumor being that Antoine Griezmann, Griezmann, do you say it with the instead of the z?
No, you pronounce it Z. Griezmann.
You're right, but I've heard that he prefers the Spanish pronunciation, Griezmann.
Well, he's French. Yeah, what does he know?
Well,
I mean, it is his name.
Yeah, but why would you refer to Spanish? He's French.
I'm sure that he can say it however he wants to.
Like Matt prefers the German pronunciation of Matt, like Mathieu.
Antoine Griezmann has been, rumored to return to Atletico Madrid with some kind of swap deal with Barcelona. At first, it was discussed that Atletico would offer Saul Niguez, as we discussed previously with about Liverpool. But since the rumors have turned a little bit, and that Atletico wanting Griezmann would it would only happen if Barcelona got João Felix in return. João Felix, of course, being a superstar for Atletico Madrid. One of their most expensive signings, if not the most expensive signing for them in history. Gentlemen, that sounds like a bad deal.
But
Yeah.
it's a good deal for Barca, not a good deal for Atletico Madrid.
No, but is it though? It's not a good deal for Barca either. I mean, yeah, getting the player of João Felix's quality is good, but Barca's issues are not the quality of players; it's cutting that wage bill.
Would he be happy going on lower wages than he would be expecting to go on to?
Griezmann, losing Griezmann would have saved Barcelona 12 million euros a year. And that's with paying for Saul's wages included. Plus, they would have got. They were expecting, I think it was 15 million from Atletico as well. Bringing in Saul, it solves an issue that they have with midfield. He kind of will fit in that Pjanic role. That Pjanic obviously has been a massive flop at Barcelona, but bringing in someone like Felix, who will expect a huge wage, that's a bad move. No like it at all.
Oh, fun times. Yeah.
I was a little concerned because I wasn't sure if maybe Barca were going to try to do the old "you can have Griezmann, we'll bring Suarez back" sort of thing.
Suarez will never ever play for Barca again. The way he was treated on his way out, you've more chance of finding rock in horse poo.
No, absolutely. But from moment, I think like, I could see him try to do that, baby, on Barca's side of things.
There's more chance of getting Costa.
I've got to admit, I do like the I like the idea of Griezmann going to Atletico because he would improve their team for sure. But I think that would be we'll buy him off you, but that's all we're doing.
Yeah, I think the issue is, would he be accepted back at Atletico? Because if you remember the whole La Decisión, where he's, I'm taking my talent to Barcelona, thinking he's the LeBron James of football. He riled a lot of feathers at Atletico with the way he treated them on the way out. But saying that, they have took players back who have left the club before, so it's not exactly historic. But it was always
can be amended.
Yeah, Antoine Griezmann to Barca was always a vanity signing. It was a signing because they could afford it, and now they can't afford it.
They could afford it.
Yeah, well,
they could never afford it. They never did.
No,
they never were able to afford it.
Out of curiosity, gentlemen, how long is left on Griezmann's contract?
I think it's 2 years.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
So if they can't shift him in this window, and no one's going to sign him mid-season because he'll be tied up. He'll be tied up Champions League wise. For them to offload him for another year, which is another year of paying him his wages, unless they can get him to cancel his contract.
Well, they've been struggling getting players to cancel contracts because they've tried that with Pjanic. Pjanic has said nope, he wants to honour his deal. They've tried it with Samuel Umtiti. He said no, he wants to stay and fight for his place. So they have to sell Griezmann, and that's why he's available at such a cut price. I mean, this is a guy they spent 150 million on because he was Antoine Griezmann. They're now looking at maybe recouping 30 at best.
Mm-hmm. Pjanic, by the way, Miralem Pjanic, midfielder for Barcelona, he is also rumored to possibly return to the Italian Serie A, possibly to Jose Mourinho's AS Roma side. That would be interesting.
Oh wow! So Barcelona really got their pants pulled down because they lost Arto to Juve, who was a younger player than Pjanic. Mm-hmm. They paid a premium. They paid Pjanic something like 16 million a season, and now they're going to lose him to Roma. That's the irony, irony there.
That would be so much fun, so much fun. Let's take a trip here to Gay Paris. Yes, for our final
Très bien.
segment. Yes, LA. PSG, the super team. This is this PSG team, Paris Saint-Germain. Oh boy, I'm excited to see this team play.
This is a Farmers League team as well. Before we get even into the signings they've made, bear in mind, we have give this league grief for being a farmers league. I don't think Liga Earn is a farmers league anymore because God damn, this team is good.
Yes.
Mags. Before you carry on, Tanner, we can say the league is this team is just a super team.
This is a super team.
If this team doesn't walk the league next year, then they might as well close up shop.
If this team doesn't walk the Champions League next year, I don't know what we could possibly do to help PSG. Because I'm looking here at the roster. They've signed
squad.
Thank you, squad. I'm looking at the roster, and they brought in three players, three world-class players on a free transfer. The first off, Gianluigi Donnarumma, who just won the Euros for Italy. He actually makes, wait for it, not one, not two, not three, but the 9th goalkeeper on PSG's wage bill right now. 9.
I mean, they've got another keeper who was really good last season as well, coming back in Alfonso Areola. He's going back to Paris as well.
He might be there. Keylor Navas is still there, so they've got three guys who could potentially be the number one for PSG there.
Keylor Navas can't catch a break, can he?
I don't think there's any potential. Donnarumma is their number one, without a doubt. This is a guy who...
That's my point, man. Yeah, Navas can't catch a break.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Donnarumma has been on the periphery of being the world's best keeper for a long, long time. And now with his exploits with Italy, I think he could potentially now break that and become one of the best keepers in the world.
The Italian imports don't end there, though, gentlemen. Achraf Hakimi has transferred from Inter Milan.
Big signing.
That's a
huge signing.
It's a massive signing. I have a huge appreciation for Achraf Hakimi. What position he will play for PSG, I'm not sure, because he's very versatile. He could play at the right back. He could play right wing back. He could play right mid. He could play off the right wing. Basically, anywhere off the right, Hakimi's good. Ori in the chat says, "You guys are my number ones." Thank you.
Thank you, Ori.
That means a lot. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Make sure everyone watching gives us a like. If you like that, give us a like spike.
Yeah. I would appreciate that. That would be fantastic. I think we would all appreciate a thumbs up. And you, the viewer and listener, you deserve a thumbs up as well.
So give it us and we'll keep holding it for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Back to PSG's Inter Milan signings.
Yeah, Achraf Hakimi, he is so fast, but he's also so technically brilliant. This is a very, very good signing for PSG, Achraf Hakimi. The fun doesn't stop there, of course. Gini Wijnaldum has transferred on a free to PSG. He's going to bring a lot of steel and a lot of just grit to PSG.
I'm going to make a controversial statement at this point. That may be the best signing of the lot for them.
Well, we'll see.
Because he's someone they needed. They didn't need Donnarumma. They were great getting him. No question about it. But I didn't need him.
Well,
he won't be needed in goal mode. Put it that way.
If he comes in on a free, then you absolutely do need Gianluigi Donnarumma, in my opinion. The fun doesn't stop there, of course. Danilo Pereira, 29 years old, comes from FC Porto, one of the biggest defensive midfielders that you'll find physically. He's a very, very good, stalwart. He's very stout man. He's got a lot of power and strength.
He's a tank. He's an absolute tank. He is a specimen.
Yeah, I would agree. That's good. And why not bring in one of the most experienced, most prized defenders in all of the world on a free transfer as well. Why not bring in Real Madrid's former captain Sergio Ramos to play at the center back position to fill the void that Thiago Silva left the season before? Gentlemen, this PSG team is out of control.
It's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. It's just star upon star upon star upon star. It's just an amazing team. Very, very scary. I mean, I would hasten to argue that maybe Sergio Ramos is the more important signing that they made there. They certainly did need to plug that hole of Thiago Silva, and I think Ramos certainly is able to do that. But yeah, they are just some big names. I mean, Hakimi coming in. Was it 54 million for the transfer? He will pay that back in spades. This team is going to demolish Liga next season.
If they
can keep hold of Mbappe.
I don't think after his Euro performance, anyone's going to be going after him.
What are you on? Listen, put the crack pipe down. If Mbappe is on the board for sales, there will be a dozen teams chasing him.
I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this, but I don't care. The fact matter is that Mbappe, as soon as he went up against half-decent players at the Euros, he couldn't hit a barn door with a fucking scattergun.
Stop that noise!
Wow.
The stats back it up, Mags. 17 shots on goal, none on target, no goals.
I will only agree with Matt to the extent that I don't think he goes this summer. I think he goes on a free next summer. There's a lot of people in France really pushing Mbappe that he needs to go abroad and really test himself.
And he said that himself. He said that he wants to play in the Premier League. He wants to play in La Liga. He wants to become an all-round footballer.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this is also Mbappe's last year on his PSG contract, so he would be the most sought-after free agent next season.
Well, then he should go to Burnley and leave Liverpool alone.
And to combat Matt's his
wrongness.
His stats about the Euros. Yeah, he was absolutely right. He didn't score any goals. He did have a very quiet tournament. But let's just break down some of his goal-scoring stats in week-to-week season football. So in Liga, he's played 148 times, scored 107 goals. In the Champions League, he's played 45, scored 27 goals. In the Coupe de France, he's played 21 and scored 19 goals. This is outstanding in front of goal. But he doesn't just provide that, he provides assists as well, because he's got 42 Ligue 1 assists, 17 Champions League assists, 12 Coupe de France assists. This is a player you would give your teeth to have in your squad. You are madness. You are mad. You are mad. He is an improvement over every single player in the Liverpool squad. He's an improvement over Van Dijk. Play him in defence, and he's better than Van Dijk.
Mags, every single stat you've given me there shows that he's great in a Farmers League. Nothing about it.
Champions League. 45 games, 27 goals, 17 assists. So 44 goal contributions in 45 games.
And how many how many of those goals were against top quality teams and not teams who are literally playing third division Luxembourg League? I'm just being realistic here, Mag. The fact matter is that if I was up against Milkman and Postman every week, then I'd be scoring those sort of goals.
Let me interject real quick here, gentlemen. Let's keep in mind though that come next season, Kylian Mbappe will be surrounded by guys like Angel Di Maria, Neymar, and he'll also have again Achraf Hakimi. He'll have the support of Gini Wijnaldum. He'll be
absolutely. That seems amazing. I'm not
like Danilo
disputing
Pereira. Kylian Mbappe. What I'm trying to get to here is that Kylian Mbappe's numbers are likely only going to improve next season.
And I've got the Champions League stats as well for Matt, if he would like me to quickly run them off. So 2016-17, when he was at Monaco, he scored against City, home and away. He scored against Dortmund, home and away. He scored against Juve away. When he signed for Paris in 2017, he scored against Celtic, Anderlecht, home and away. Bayern Munich. In 2018, he scored against Liverpool.
He did.
Belgrade, Manchester United. In 2019, hat-trick against Club Brugge, scored against Real Madrid, scored against Galatasaray. Last season, he scored against Besiktas, hat-trick against Barcelona, scored again against Barcelona in the return leg, and scored 2 against Bayern. So he's hit goals against the biggest of the big.
Yes. Yes.
I still don't want him. I'd rather have Haaland.
Really? You can prove anything with facts.
I would rather have Haaland still.
I would rather have that option to be able to pick between Haaland and Mbappe.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
And yes, I'd pick Firmino, Chris. I've got BSC happily.
Chris in the chat says that Matt would rather have Roberto Firmino than Kylian Mbappe, and then claims he isn't biased.
Absolutely, I'm biased in regards to this. Absolutely, regarding to this, yes, I am.
What? I've got some homework for you for next week. Find another human being on this planet that would pick Firmino over Mbappe. I think that is a limb you are out there on your own.
Maybe I am, Mag. Maybe I am. But if I die on that hill, I'm going to die on that hill. Kylian Mbappe, stay the fuck away from Anfield.
Or please come. I would like
Matt,
to.
The opinions of Matt do not match up with the opinions of all the other Liverpool fans.
It's my personal opinion. Especially after we've seen his penalty taking really isn't great. So
yeah, but just have Salah take the penalties. It's fine.
We have Milner for that. It's fine.
But before we wrap up here, guys, does this make PSG the favorites for the Champions League next year?
Yeah, for me, yes.
If they're not the favourite, they're certainly in the top 3 for sure.
I would like to caveat it all depends on what Manchester City's signings are this season. If they get the likes of Harry Kane, or if they get Haaland,
and what happened in Barcelona and Madrid, of course, still. Because of course, because we're in touch with that Gareth Bale, no one's come in to buy him. Despite the fact that they're basically saying come buy him, no one can afford his wages.
I think he should just go into golf. I think that's the right move for
then we'll never see him again. Lovely.
Alrighty.
You're very bitter on this first pre-season episode of Radio Tekkers. You're very bitter.
I don't like Mbappe.
Yeah, but you were just telling Gareth Bale that you don't want to see him again. He's got nothing to do with Mbappe.
No, if he goes into golf, we'll never see him again. I don't like golf.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, I don't either, personally, Matt.
Sit there in your wrongness.
Oh, goodness. Well, it's been an absolute treat here, coming back to you with some more live content for Radio Tekkers as we head into the season. Slowly but surely, we'll be back again next week. I'm sure to have the same little bit of waffle that we have this week. Maybe Matt will come around to
see sense.
Kill Mbappe one day.
Do you know what? Last year it was Thiago. This year it's Mbappe.
He's gonna have a new target every year. This is
great. Every week.
Every week. Wow,
every week. Absolutely.
Stunning.
Absolutely. Let's see who gets Matt attacked this week.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's a new segment. Who's getting Matt attacked? We'll find out next week who's getting Matt attacked. But until then, Matt, where can the wonderful people who have tuned into the show find more of your content?
Well, they can find me just down here at Matt Attack UK and across the whole of visual media.
Yeah, there you go. And Mags, what about yourself? Where can people find more of your content?
You can find me on the Twitters at Kylian_Mbappe.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
Or if you really want to talk to me and not the real Kylian Mbappe, follow me there, down here, at PodfatherMags.
Indeed. Yeah, make sure that
follow Ori as well down next to Matt because she is amazing.
Yes.
Poor lady has had to have physical therapy on her back from carrying me and Tanner.
Yeah,
absolutely.
true.
Go make sure you check out A Change in Attitude for sure.
Yes, A Change in Attitude. It's a fun time had by all. If you're a wrestling fan out there, you need to tune into A Change in Attitude. Ori is certainly the star. Me and Max just, we just
ride those coattails.
Exactly.
What about you, Tam? Where can people find you?
Oh, well, people can find me personally on Twitter at TexasGentleman_. Or you can just hit us up on the Radio Tekkers Twitter handle that's scrolling right underneath us here in the live stream at Radio Tekkers. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to this, whether you're watching us here on YouTube and Twitch, or if you are, tuning in podcast-wise on iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere else for that matter. We would greatly appreciate it. We thank you guys for tuning in to yet another fun-filled episode of Radio Tekkers. Like I said, we will be back again next week. I'm not sure why they're laughing. Maybe I said something funny.
Oh dear.
Yes, at K Mbappe. Follow at K Mbappe. I hope that's a real handle.
That is, I checked.
Good night and good luck, ladies and gentlemen.
We're out of here.